Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki are central characters in the Naruto universe, and their story of love and sacrifice has a great impact on the plot, especially on the development of Naruto Uzumaki, the protagonist. Minato Namikaze is the fourth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, known for his exceptional skill and for being one of the most powerful ninjas of his time. He is responsible for creating the instant teleportation technique, the Hiraishin no Jutsu, and is revered as a hero in the village. Minato was a wise, compassionate leader and very dedicated to the well-being of his village and its people. However, his greatest contribution to the story of Naruto is the sacrifice he made by sealing the nine-tailed fox, Kyuubi, inside his son, Naruto, to protect the village during a devastating attack. Kushina Uzumaki was a ninja originally from the Hidden Waterfall Village, but was brought to the Hidden Leaf Village to be the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox. She was a strong woman with a vibrant spirit and a kind heart, but she also had an impulsive and fearless personality. Kushina fell in love with Minato, and together they formed a family. Their love story is marked by moments of happiness and hardship, but also by a deep bond of trust and companionship. What makes Minato and Kushina even more special is the sacrifice they both made to protect Naruto and the village. When the nine-tailed fox attacked the village, Minato and Kushina were in a desperate situation. Kushina, who was pregnant with Naruto, was possessed by the fox due to the impact of its sealing. Minato, knowing that there was no other option, made the difficult decision to sacrifice his own life to seal the fox inside Naruto, ensuring that he would survive the attack. Kushina, also knowing what was to come, accepted her fate with courage and love, doing everything she could to ensure her son's safety. Minato and Kushina's sacrifice is one of Naruto's most moving and tragic stories. They died to ensure the protection of their son and the village, not knowing that in doing so, they would be leaving a legacy that would shape Naruto's future. This sacrifice was the foundation for Naruto's journey, as he grew up with the responsibility of carrying the nine-tailed fox, initially unaware of the reason for his suffering and loneliness. Throughout the series, he discovers the love and sacrifice of his parents, and this motivates him to move forward, seeking not only to protect the village, but also to honor his parents' legacy. The issue of dying for someone is profound and is linked to unconditional love, which is a central theme in the Bible. Jesus, for example, demonstrated the greatest example of love by dying for humanity, offering his life to save others, as it is written in John 15, verse 13. Greater love is no one than this, that one lay down one's life for one's friends. In the context of Naruto, Minato, and Kushina, Naruto's parents, represent this type of sacrificial love. They did not hesitate to give their lives to protect their son and the village. Minato, knowing the consequences, made a conscious sacrifice by sealing the nine-tailed fox inside Naruto, while Kushina also faced death to ensure her son's survival. This sacrifice can be compared to the love of Christ, who sacrificed himself to save us. Just like Minato and Kushina, who died for Naruto, Jesus died for us, not because of our goodness, but because of his immeasurable love. Sacrificial love is a reflection of divine love, which calls us to love to the point of being willing to give our lives for others. In Romans 5 verse 8, the Apostle Paul expresses one of the greatest principles of Christianity, God's love for us, even when we were far from him and living in sin. The phrase, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us, reveals the depth of God's love, a love that does not depend on our actions or merits, but is offered freely and without conditions. This verse teaches us that true love is not based on merit, but on an unconditional commitment to care, sacrifice, and redemption. God's love, demonstrated through Jesus' sacrifice, is an incomparable example of how true love often demands profound and even painful sacrifices. Jesus, being perfect and sinless, chose to die on the cross for an imperfect humanity, lost in its mistakes and sins. He did not die because we were worthy, but because he chose to love us, despite our flaws. This is the kind of love that defies human logic, that transcends the boundaries of common understanding. This unconditional love is reflected in stories like that of Minato and Kushina in Naruto. They did not hesitate to sacrifice their own lives to protect their son and the village, even knowing the hardships and suffering that this would bring upon them. Their love for Naruto was so great that they were willing to do anything to ensure his safety and future, without expecting anything in return. This type of sacrifice is similar to that of Christ, who gave his life to save humanity, without requiring us to do anything to deserve such a sacrifice. The connection between Christ's sacrifice and Minato and Kushina's sacrifice is symbolic, as both represent love that does not expect anything in return, but is given freely with the sole desire to protect, care for, and ensure a better future for those loved. In both cases, the sacrifices are not easy, but they are made with a deep trust in the greater purpose. Minato and Kushina sacrificed their lives to give Naruto a chance at a better future, and Jesus did the same for humanity, offering his life so that we could have the opportunity to be reconciled with God and live in his presence. Furthermore, Christ's sacrifice in Romans 5 verse 8 reveals that God's love is not just a feeling, but a concrete and transformative action. God's love is not something that remains only in words, but manifests itself in actions that impact us deeply. Jesus did not just say, "I love you," but demonstrated that love in a practical and radical way by giving his life on the cross. This sacrificial love calls us to reflect on the kind of love we should cultivate in our own lives. We are often called to love sacrificially, whether in our families, friendships, or in our communities. True love, like that of Christ and of Minato and Kushina, requires action and often involves suffering and sacrifice. However, it is a love that brings healing, redemption, and transformation, both to the one who loves and to the one who is loved. Ultimately, God's love, as described in Romans 5 verse 8, challenges us to love more deeply, to sacrifice ourselves for the good of others, and to understand that true love has no limits, does not seek its own benefit, but is an expression of grace and compassion, just as Christ's love for us. This love is the basis of our faith and the model for all our relationships. This reflection leads us to think about how much we are willing to sacrifice for those we love, just as Minato, Kushina, and especially Jesus taught us with their examples of unconditional love.